Welcome to the Positively Joyful Productivity Show, where joy isn't a reward for productivity, it's the secret ingredient. I'm your host, Nicole Louise, coach, wife, and dog mom. This is a no-kid zone by design, created for women who are child-free, childless, or an empty nester embracing your next chapter. You all belong here. Each week, you'll hear inspiring stories from women around the world and learn tools, mindset shifts, and practical strategies for living a joyful life. You'll also discover the science behind why focusing on joy fuels focus, motivation, and lasting productivity. Let's get inspired, get organized, and create a life full of freedom, focus, and joy. Well, hello, and welcome back to the Positively Joyful Productivity Show. I'm your host, Nicole Louise. Hello, hello. And GPTs are dead. What? I got a little crazy with this one, didn't I? So you might be thinking, first of all, what is a GPT? There's so many people that don't even know what they are still. And if I don't know what they are, why are they dead? Why am I so behind? Don't worry, we're going to fill you in. But if you're familiar with GPTs, you might remember, I don't know, just a couple months ago when everybody was making their own GPT, like Oprah giving away cars. You get a GPT, you get a GPT, you get a GPT. And now they're kind of falling flat. So what's going on here? They're not really dead, but let me speak behind this a little bit. So GPTs, I'm going to compare this to like having 100 tabs open, or in this case, 100 random GPT chats that don't connect to each other. And so that's kind of the problem. And I'm going to introduce you to the solution today. So I'm really glad that you're here. Let's jump into this crazy episode, shall we? Okay. So, quick refresher. What are GPTs? So, I explain GPTs like they're super customized little mini assistants. And it's ChatGPT. Okay. So, it's ChatGPT, but you give it specific instructions. So, think about it like if you do something repetitively over and over and over, like meal planning, for example. We eat all the time, and so you have to meal plan like all the time, right? Like weekly or monthly. And so that's something you do repetitively. You probably have a system for that. And you might have created a GPT for that to support you because you're doing specific things over and over and over. So that is one use case of where you would use a GPT. So you can also share GPTs. You can make them shareable and share them with other people. You can even sell them. I know a lot of people who are selling GPTs. So that there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with them. The limitation is that each GPT is siloed. It's like having a friend, a really great friend, who gives amazing advice. And then the next time you see her, it's like she has amnesia. She totally forgot everything that you last spoke about. That's kind of what goes on with the GPT. If you open a new chat in your GPT, it forgot everything you talked about previously, except the stuff that you've programmed into it. So that's kind of I guess, the problem behind GPTs. And then we're going to talk about the solution. So, okay, GPTs are dead, Nicole. So, okay, what's the thing? What's going on? Well, ChatGPT has this newer, it's not new anymore in AI world. I feel like if things are a week old, it's like 100 years in real time. So this hasn't been around for too long, so it's a little newer and people are just starting to discover it. But it's called Projects. in ChatGPT. So projects are like GPTs, but they're leveled up. And let me talk about how. So projects, you can customize them similar to how you would customize a GPT. But the difference is you can add all kinds of chats, like any chat that you open up or start within the project gets saved right in this project. And you can upload files, you can upload PDFs, all kinds of stuff. And all of those things get stored in one location. So if you're like me and you use ChatGPT all the time, on the left-hand side of your screen, you're like, oh man, I knew I asked ChatGPT this question, like a week ago. And then you end up scrolling through like tons and tons and tons of conversations. And then if you're really bad at like labeling stuff like I am, you can't remember what conversation it was. And ChatGPT might name it something that your brain might not associate with the conversation. And so you end up going in circles trying to find what you were looking for. And this is where projects really helps people like me who sometimes struggle to digitally organize themselves. So think of projects as like your personal AI hub that remembers context across all of the chats that you have within the same project. So it's really cool. So it's great for ongoing work. So things that you do over and over, things that you want to sort of keep all in one place. Okay. So like I am just putting the finishing touches on my book. I am writing a book. Yes, it's very exciting. So that is coming out soon. And I, of course, used AI to assist me in writing this book. And all of the resources and files and everything that I needed to do this project are in a project in ChatGPT. And it just made this whole process so much easier because everything was in one place. I didn't have to scroll through all of my random GPT chats. So that was really, really helpful. You can manage client notes. You can manage multiple aspects of your personal life, like budgeting, trip planning, house projects, meal planning, organizing your podcast, like I'm going to start doing. So the possibilities are, of course, endless with this. So now that I've kind of given you an overview of what projects are, it's pretty simple. But let's talk about the key differences between GPTs and projects. So the first one is memory and organization. So, like I said, projects store everything in one place. GPTs do not. And I was playing around with, can I talk to a GPT within a project? You cannot as of right now. They don't play together at this point. So I don't know if they will in the future. Who knows? That would be cool. But like I said at the beginning, you can customize the instructions in the project like you would a GPT. So, there's that too. So the next thing is sharing. So GPTs, you can share projects, at least right now. I don't think that you can share them. You know what? I'm actually going to do this in real time as I'm talking to you. Yeah, no, you can't share projects right now, which is interesting because you would think like projects, when you're working in a team, you would assume that something like that would be able to share with people. Um, but actually, let me try something else. Yeah, no, you can't. Just double checking a couple things live here with you. So no, you can't share projects, but you can share GPTs. Like I said, so many people are making them, sharing them with others, even selling them on the GPT store or within their own businesses. So, so that's a cool feature of GPTs. And they're really useful. I still use my GPTs. but projects are definitely something that's I'm like, ooh, I'm really, really, really jumping onto projects. So let's talk about like how you would use projects and GPTs, the differences there. So projects are, think about it as more of a system, and GPTs are like very siloed, one-off kind of things. So, for example, I'm using my wellness GPT to track all of my like food intake, any health things going on with me. I'm tracking all kinds of stuff, frankly. Um, and projects are where I'm going to end up storing all of that. So I'm going to use my GPT because it's already like I already put all of the data into that. So it's already set up and running. So what I'm going to do is each month I'm going to have the GPT summarize and pull out, analyze the data and pull out the important stuff and create a chart for me that I can download. Then I'm going to upload that into my project. So that is all in one place. So that is how I am going to use them combined. So that's a way that you can use GPTs and projects kind of together, sort of. I'm like air quoting that because they don't actually talk to each other, but that's one thing you can do to store information from your GPTs is you can download things like that and put them into a project so that way you don't lose them. So, cool use feature there. So think of GPTs are like cool little like customized sidekicks that do like really specific tasks. And projects are more like your personal command center. So I hope all that makes sense. So let's talk about a couple of other use cases for each of these. So GPTs, like I said, you can use them for all kinds of stuff. One like more specific example could be like create a custom recipe finder GPT, and then you can share that with your friends or family members. You can package your expertise into a GPT and sell it or give it away even as a lead magnet if you're in business. And that's what most business owners are doing right now is packaging their information and, putting it into a GPT that way. You can have your finance GPT. So again, anything that you would use a project for, you can still use a GPT. I think at this point you could probably, well, no, I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna say you can probably put more information into a GPT, but that's not necessarily true because you can upload files into projects. So stay tuned. I'm gonna keep working on projects and I'm gonna probably redo my wellness GPT at some point and put it into a project and just compare the two and see how they work. So stay tuned for that. I will be updating you as I do this, because I'm learning as we go here. So as I'm learning things and playing with things, I am sharing them with you. So I'm kind of scratching the surface at this point with projects. And as I learn more and play with it more and find out more cool stuff, I will definitely be sharing that here on the podcast and on LinkedIn. Hey, are we connected on LinkedIn? Head over to LinkedIn, Positively Joyful Productivity. Let's connect. Okay. So those are some use cases for GPTs. Now let's talk about projects. So again, this is like ongoing stuff that you want to keep organized all in one clean location. So it keeps all the moving parts of things together, of life. If you have a business, it keeps all of those things together in one place for you. So, like for me, I'm going to start probably create a project for my podcast. So, like, there's a lot that goes into creating these podcast episodes and ideas, outlines, prepping for my guests that are on, repurposing the content, all of that stuff. So I'm probably going to create a project so that everything is all in one place and I don't have to like search back through all of my old chats and be like, where was that episode I did on this and that and I want to reuse this, and so everything will be in one central location. And in home life, you can use it as a personal hub for things. So think of things that you would need multiple resources for. Vacation planning, maybe home organization, even meal planning. You could, have all kinds of meal planning, like if you like chicken dishes and over here and, fish over there and vegan over here, so all of these things you could organize into one central spot. And the cool thing is, like, I'll take the meal planning for example. So if you want like chicken dishes, so you start a chat and tell it to find you a chicken dish, like a Mediterranean style chicken dish. And then, 3 weeks from now, you want like chicken soup. So go back to that chicken recipe. You can label it chicken recipe within the project. And then you just keep using that to search for chicken things. And then you can have a separate chat for fish dishes or, another chat for desserts or whatever you want. So I would suggest labeling your chats that way. That way, it really keeps everything nice and streamlined and organized for you within that project. And again, you don't get lost in the scrolling of where was that chat and what did I talk about? So that way, it keeps everything nice and streamlined for you. So, all right. I would love to hear, have you even heard of projects? Do you think GPTs are really dead or do you still use them? I totally still use them. I'm not gonna lie. I went with I usually keep my headlines or my titles for these podcast episodes pretty chill. This one was like, totally attention grabbing. I don't normally do that, so it was a little out of the box for me. What do you think? Let me know. Head over to LinkedIn and let me know what you think. But in the meantime, I encourage you to experiment with projects. It's a great way to get yourself organized within ChatGPT, especially the more you use it and the more you get your systems in place with ChatGPT. I always say you want to have your systems in place, your routines in place before you go setting up tools. But yeah, go give it a try. I encourage you to go play with it. It's definitely a really cool feature. That's why I'm excited to share this with you. And yeah, again, connect with me on LinkedIn. Let me know what you think. If you have questions, feel free to reach out too. I am here to help you through all this stuff. So yeah, reach out, let me know. Okay, shorty episode today, but jam-packed full of good info. So I hope you enjoyed it. Have a beautiful week ahead, and I will chat with you soon.